You know, the older I get, the more I realize age isn't just a number, it's a conversation we have with ourselves every day. And here's something you might not expect to hear. Most people over 70 can't do what I'm about to share with you. But if you can, you just might be aging in reverse. Stay with me because I'm going to give you 5 small practical things that could change the way you feel about getting older, starting today. Let's start with something simple but so important, most people don't even think about it until it becomes a problem. You see, many folks over 70 don't realize that their sense of balance starts to fade. It's not just about tripping or falling, it's about how your brain and body work together to keep you steady on your feet, and honestly, on your life. When balance starts to go, so does confidence, and that little fear of falling. It keeps a lot of people from doing the things they love, like walking with friends or playing with the grandkids. I've seen it happen more times than I can count, and it breaks my heart every single time. I remember George, one of my clients from Ohio. He's 72, a proud grandfather of 5. He used to walk his grandkids to the park every Saturday. But one day he lost his footing on the sidewalk and took a bad fall. After that, he just stopped going out. He told me, "Doc, I feel like the ground betrayed me." His world got smaller and smaller. He started avoiding stairs, skipped family outings, even stopped getting the mail. It wasn't until I showed him a tiny, simple thing that he started to trust his body again. And let me tell you, seeing him back at that park, smiling, holding his grandson's hand, that's the reason I'm here talking to you today. One of the easiest ways I've found to help people like George is this. Stand near a wall or a sturdy chair, spread your arms out like you're making the letter T, and gently close your eyes. Try to hold that position for just 30 seconds. It sounds easy, but trust me, it wakes up the little parts of your brain and body that keep you steady. Do it once or twice a day, that's it. Remember, balance isn't something you lose just because of your age. It's something you can keep, something you can rebuild. Every small step you take toward trusting your body again is a step toward living fully. You've got more strength in you than you realize, and today could be the day you prove it to yourself. Here's another thing I see all the time, and it often surprises people when I bring it up. Many folks don't realize that as we get older, we tend to breathe more shallowly. It's not something you notice right away, but over time it starts to wear you down. Shallow breathing means your body isn't getting as much oxygen as it needs, and that affects everything, your energy, your memory, even your mood. You might feel tired more often or find yourself getting short of breath just doing simple things around the house. It's easy to brush it off and think, well, I'm just getting older. But breathing deeply is one of the simplest, most powerful things you can do to feel alive again. I remember Margaret from Kansas City. She's 75, full of life and always smiling. But she told me one day that she felt like she just couldn't catch her breath anymore. Climbing stairs felt like a mountain. Even laughing too hard made her feel winded. But the moment that really stuck with me was her birthday. Her family gathered around with a big cake, candles glowing, and when it came time to blow them out, she couldn't do it. She tried, but the breath just wasn't there. She laughed it off at the moment, but later she told me, with tears in her eyes, I didn't realize how much I'd lost. That's when we started working on her breathing together, just a little bit every day. And you know what? A few weeks later, she called me, excited, saying she blew out every single candle on her grandson's birthday cake. She felt like herself again. What often helps people like Margaret is a simple breathing exercise. You can try it right now. Sit comfortably, breathe in slowly through your nose while counting to 4, hold that breath gently for another count of 4, and then let it out slowly through your mouth while counting to 6. Do this 5 times a day. It's that simple, and it makes a bigger difference than you might expect. Breathing fully is like giving your body a fresh start. Every single time you do it, you deserve to feel that energy again, to fill your lungs with life. It's never too late to start, and every deep breath you take is a quiet reminder. You're still here, and you've still got so much life to live. Let's move on to something that might surprise you, because it seems so small, but it's actually a big deal, your grip strength. Most people don't realize that as we age, our hands start to lose some of their strength. And it's not just about opening jars or carrying grocery bags. Research shows that your grip strength is connected to your heart health, your brain function, and even how long you stay independent. Weak hands can be an early sign that your body needs a little extra attention. If you've noticed things slipping through your fingers more often, or feeling like your hands get tired faster than they used to, you're not alone. It happens quietly, but you can do something about it. I remember Tom from Dallas. He's 71, a retired mechanic who used to spend his days fixing cars and tinkering in his garage. One day he told me he was having trouble holding his coffee mug steady. It didn't seem like much at first, but then he started dropping things more often. His phone, his keys, even a glass of water at dinner. He laughed it off, saying, "Guess these old hands aren't what they used to be." But I could see it worried him. He told me he was afraid it meant he was losing more than just strength. He was afraid it meant he was losing control of his life. So we started small. I gave him a simple exercise, nothing fancy, something he could do while watching TV or sitting on the porch. And slowly, he started to feel that strength coming back. He even went back to working on an old truck he'd been putting off for years. One of the simplest ways to wake up the strength in your hands is to use a soft tennis ball or stress ball. Just hold it in one hand and gently squeeze it 10 times. Then switch to the other hand. Do this once or twice a day. You don't need to push hard, just enough to feel your muscles working. It's quick, easy, and you can do it anywhere. Remember, your hands tell a story. They've held so much in your lifetime, people, memories, moments. Give them a little care, a little strength, and they'll keep holding on to what matters most. You're stronger than you feel, and your story is far from over. Now, let me share something that's often overlooked, but it might be one of the most important things you can do for your body and your spirit. Keep moving. I'm not talking about going to the gym or running marathons. I mean the simple act of walking a little more each day. You see, as we get older, it's easy to slow down, to tell ourselves it's safer or easier to stay put. But when we stop moving, our muscles get weaker, our joints get stiffer, and our heart doesn't work as well. Even our mood can sink without us noticing. I've seen it happen too many times, and I know how easy it is to get stuck in that cycle. But the good news is you don't have to stay there. I think about Susan from Portland. She's 78, a lovely woman with a sharp mind and a big heart. She used to walk every day with her neighbor, but after her husband passed, she stopped going out as much. One day, her grandson told her he missed their walks. That simple comment hit her hard. She realized how much she had pulled back from life without even meaning to. We talked about it, and I asked her to try adding just a few extra steps each day, not for exercise, but for the joy of being out in the world again. She started small, walking to the end of the driveway, then around the block. Within a month, she was back to visiting the park with her grandson. She told me it felt like she'd come back to life. One of the easiest ways to start is by adding just 500 extra steps to your day. You don't need a fancy pedometer. Just walk a little farther than you did yesterday, maybe to the mailbox and back twice, or one more lap around the kitchen. It's not about numbers. It's about reminding your body that you're still moving forward. Every step you take is a quiet victory. It's a way of telling yourself, I'm still here, I'm still going. You don't need to rush or push. Just move a little more today than you did yesterday. Your body will thank you, and so will your heart. And here's one more thing I'd love for you to try, something that isn't about your body, but about your mind. Many people tell me they feel like their memory isn't what it used to be. They walk into a room and forget why they came in. They search for the right word and it just won't come. It can be frustrating, even a little scary. But let me tell you something I've learned after years of working with older adults. Your brain loves to be challenged. It doesn't matter how old you are. Your mind can still wake up and surprise you if you give it something to work on every day. I always think of Robert from Jacksonville. He's 76 and used to joke that his brain felt like an old radio stuck between stations, fuzzy and hard to hear. He told me he was starting to worry when he couldn't remember the names of his neighbors or where he'd left his keys. But Robert loved reading the newspaper every morning, so I suggested he start with the crossword puzzle on the back page, just a few minutes each day. At first, it felt silly to him, but something started to change. He began remembering little details more easily. His words came quicker. One morning he called me and said, "Doc, I finished the whole puzzle today, and I remembered to put my keys by the door." We both laughed, but I could hear the pride in his voice. That little routine gave him back something he thought he'd lost. What I often recommend is simple. Start your day by giving your brain a little exercise. You could try a crossword puzzle, a word search, or just sit quietly and recall 5 things you did yesterday. Say them out loud or write them down. It doesn't have to be perfect or long, it just needs to be yours. Your mind is like a garden. It needs sunlight, water, and care. Every little thought you tend to helps it grow stronger. You've carried a lifetime of memories and you still have so many more to make. Keep your mind awake. You deserve to feel sharp, alive, and ready for every new day. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these simple steps felt right for you today? Go ahead and share in the comments. I really do read them, and your story might help someone else feel less alone. And if this felt helpful, don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell so you won't miss what's coming next. Remember, you're not alone in this, you're stronger than you think. And life, it's still reaching out to hold your hand.